This one is for all the Chelsea fans out there. I wanted to do a quick video because Chelsea has absolutely lost the plot. Todd Bowley, I have no idea what he's doing right now. First of all, let's start with the Manchester City Chelsea game that just happened the other day. Manchester City obviously winning 2-0. The big highlight of it, for me at least, was the fact that Kovacic scored the second goal at Stamford Bridge, did not celebrate. Obviously, he's a former Chelsea player. I just thought it was a crazy statistic that Chelsea spent $221 million for Enzo and Caicedo combined, and then they sold Kovacic for only $25 million. So obviously that's two players combined to one, but the fact that they are worth, or according to their value for what Chelsea paid, is almost $200 million more than the guy who, in that play, if you watch the play, Kovacic actually dribbles past both of them on his way to the goal. I think it just highlights first of all, the craziness that is the transfer window and the transfer market, especially when teams know that they have, the teams that are selling players know that the clubs that are buying have rich owners, really, really rich owners. It's almost like they put a tax because they have so much money. But also just curious as to all of the Chelsea fans and their thoughts on what is going on. How could you put a team together with so many players in one locker room? Rumors that they've had to expand the locker room because obviously all the players don't fit inside the locker room. But also, what excuse can you make at this point for not being a good title contending team? So I had a chat with my boy Eddie, who's a huge Chelsea fan, and he said we need a rebuild. We talked with some fans outside of the stadium when we went to the preseason match, and they said we need to stop buying players. And it's crazy to hear someone say that because obviously if you ask that for a Liverpool supporter, it's the complete opposite. But Chelsea fans have said that they want to stop buying players. They need to rebuild. They need to focus on the group that they have now. And it seems like Todd Bowley is not listening to any of the supporters. So let me know, if you're a Chelsea fan, do you want them to continue spending money on players? Do you think that's the right move? Obviously, if you guys have the money and if you can stay within financial fair play, which I have no idea how they're doing. And I do think that in the future, they're going to find out that there's been some financial fair play rules broken from Chelsea. I know they're one of the clubs that are in the spotlight. But just back to my point, are you guys happy with them spending so much money, or do you guys want them to just start selling players, kind of like you guys did with Gallagher? Start selling players so that you can bring in a little bit more back. I'm going to put a graphic up here because I think this is important. In terms of the contracts, obviously they're spending a lot of money, right, with these players to buy these players. But the other crazy part about it is that these contracts are really long. You have a lot of players within Chelsea's roster that have more than 6 or 7 years left in their contracts. A lot of them going into the 2030s. So I believe Sky Sports came out with this, but here's a graph or a chart that shows the clubs in the Premier League and how many combined contract years are remaining for the club. So if you add every single player's contracts and how long they last, Chelsea are at 191. That's almost 100 more years than the second place, which is Tottenham. And obviously, again, Tottenham has less players on the roster than Chelsea, and Chelsea has a lot more. But still, just the fact that there's that much disparity when you compare the rest of the clubs and they're so close together. I mean, you're looking at Manchester City at 71 because, Manchester City doesn't want to keep players too long because Pep likes to bring players in and out depending on how they perform. I'm not sure where Todd Bowley got that tactic of just not only paying so much money, but also signing these players for so long, these contracts that are so long. As a player, it obviously gives you, job security that you're not going to get. I mean, they could still sell you, but you don't have to worry about your immediate future. And that's really rare in the game of football that, players aren't getting. Players are typically getting 2-3 year contracts max for the majority of players. So the fact that these Chelsea players are doing that, I mean, I think it's going to present a problem in the future for Chelsea where some of these players are not going to want to leave. If you look at their wages, you have some really expensive wages that they're paying these players. You can imagine so much money is also going into the wage bill of all of these players. But some of these players are not going to want to leave because they're making a lot of money. Their contracts are 7-8 years long. And that can present a problem in the future for Chelsea when they are trying to bring in new players, and obviously with the financial fair play rules. So I'm just curious. I wanted to get your thoughts. I wanted to make this video just so I could see if you're a Chelsea fan, or even if you're not a Chelsea fan, what's going on with Todd Boehly, what's going on with Chelsea. Is this a moment for you guys to just stop buying players finally? Or should you be done? Or should you just keep filling positions? Because as much as you'd think that with all this money spent on these transfers, you guys would have not only one, but 2 or 3 players in every single position, there's still a lot of holes within Chelsea's squad. Still missing a world-class striker, world-class goalkeeper, experienced center backs, and even some of the other positions that you guys have, they haven't really been performing as well as they should, considering how much money they've spent. So let me know in the comment section down below. I think my analysis, my final thoughts on it is, and I've said this to my boy Eddie, is you cannot ask for a rebuild when you've spent so much money on players. Because if you're spending so much money, it means that you have the quality of players to come in, make a difference right away, and be successful. You cannot spend all of this money and then say, well, we still need a rebuild in order or a little bit of time in order for us to be successful, because that's the whole point of paying so much money for these players. Otherwise, you could have found players who are a little bit younger, you paid a lot less money to, players from the academy, for example, and said, okay, we're going to build a little bit and it's going to take us a little bit of time. So let me know in the comment section, what do you guys think? A little bit crazy, Chelsea, what's going on with Chelsea, but I want to get your thoughts, so let me know.